KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now with Mark Hanrahan and Jeremy Legoo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. A teen suspect arrested in connection to the Falls City homicides has now been charged with 5 counts of first-degree aggravated murder and 1 count of first-degree attempted murder. Tonight we are looking at brand new court documents revealing the gruesome details behind the killings. And a warning tonight, some of the new details in this case are disturbing. Natalie Swaby with our sister station in Seattle has more tonight.
We know the names of the victims. The medical examiner's report says the father was shot multiple times and 4 other family members were shot in the head. In the community where this happened, the new details coming out tonight are shocking. Across Falls City,
you just don't hear of it out here.
It's the conversation so many are having.
We're all one out here. We're here because we love it here.
The small community is dealing with enormous grief.
It's just devastating.
The reminders of it are on Lake Alice Road, where crime tape surrounds the home that deputies rushed to on Monday morning after receiving a 911 call from a 15-year-old who allegedly told the dispatcher his brother just shot my whole family and committed suicide too. But court documents say when deputies arrived, the evidence led to the arrest of that 15-year-old for shooting and killing his parents, Mark and Sarah Humiston, and 3 of his siblings, 13-year-old Benjamin, 9-year-old Joshua, and 7-year-old Catherine. His 11-year-old sister told investigators that her 15-year-old brother shot her too, but she held her breath and played dead, waited for him to leave, then used a fire window in her room to escape. She ran to a neighbor's house for help. For days, the lakefront home was an active crime scene. And throughout the community, people like Carol Gunderson can't stop thinking about it.
Every day, yeah. I just couldn't believe it. One thing after another and learning more. And it's very sad.
In Falls City, signs of support are popping up in the form of flowers. And in this coffee shop, they're giving away ribbons as symbols of the grief neighbors are feeling as together they mourn.
I need some answers. Why did this happen here?
This weekend, a local church is where the King County Sheriff's Office will invite people in. They'll listen to questions and try to bring this community some comfort.
We will come together and we'll get all through it together. And if there's something we can do to help, then we will. It would be good for me to go. I keep praying every day, though.
The 11-year-old girl who had injuries to her neck and her hand has been released from the hospital. The teen suspect in this case is expected to be arraigned at this courthouse tomorrow. In Seattle, Natalie Swaby, King 5 News.
New tonight, we have an update on the Wolf Lodge Steakhouse that burned down this past Labor Day. According to their Facebook page, the owners of Wolf Lodge are looking into the possibility of building a new restaurant. That post goes on to state that Wolf Lodge is currently looking for a local survey crew and an architect. Just a couple of months ago, the iconic restaurant burned to the ground. That fire ruled as accidental. New tonight, chronic wasting disease continues to spread across the inland Northwest, this time in Montana. According to our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press, CWD was recently detected in a white-tailed deer in Kalispell. This is the first time that deadly disease has been detected in a wild herd within the Flathead Valley. This comes after CWD was found in both North Idaho and in Washington this summer. There is no known transmission of CWD to humans. However, hunters are encouraged to get their meat tested if they harvest a deer in a hunting district with known cases of the disease. New tonight, President Joe Biden is set to give a historic apology for the nation's campaign to assimilate indigenous children by putting them in the Indian boarding school system. The U.S. government took tens of thousands of children from their families and sent them to schools across the country. They were forbidden from speaking their native languages, had their braids cut, were baptized, and many never returned home.
I'm heading to do something that should have been done a long time ago. Make a formal apology to the Indian nations for the way we treated their children for so many years.
More than a dozen of those schools were located in what is now Washington State. A zoning change on the table in Bonner County, potentially making way for more real estate development near Schweitzer Mountain ski area. KREM 2's Christian Garza watched the most recent Planning Commission hearing. He is live in the newsroom tonight to explain what's being proposed and how locals are feeling about that. Christian?
Yeah, needless to say, there are still a lot of questions that need to be answered in regards to moving forward with this development and how it will impact surrounding areas.
We're going to hear file AM 0005-24,
which is a proposal to rezone more than 1,500 acres near Schweitzer Mountain Resort from agriculture or forestry land to Alpine Village, which would allow for thousands of new residential or commercial units to be built on that land. During the meeting, it was brought up that Schweitzer Mountain Properties' application had few details about future plans for the property.
So this has been a matter of public record for quite some time, so there's nothing nefarious happening here.
Schweitzer's project representative Daniel Britt says that this area was designated by Schweitzer for future expansion in maps that were submitted to Bonner County nearly 40 years ago. He also wanted to make it clear that with this application, it would rezone all of this area to Alpine Village.
We really are drilling down to approximately 450 acres or so.
During public comment, several community members raised concerns over water supply to those areas eventually and the lack of public roads.
I do believe that the staff report was inadequate in terms of evaluating the impacts of this request.
One of the people who came forward was Susan Dromheller, who is a board member for Project 7B, which is a nonprofit that advocates for responsible land use planning in Bonner County. She says that at this point in time, there are more questions than answers when it comes to these plans.
But I really do think there's legitimacy to denying this, sending folks back to the drawing board to at least provide better information to the public prior to these hearings.
Towards the end of the meeting, Chair of the County Commissioners, Asia Williams, says that she didn't feel comfortable making a decision on the future of the area without more information from Schweitzer and doing research on the history of the area herself.
I'm not willing to, after hearing both sides of this, to make a decision that doesn't have me knowing where this is going, because right after this, you're asking me to basically make a decision of what this will be without some of those questions answered.
After the meeting, Commissioner Williams tabled the request until she was able to look at all the information and digest it all, saying that this is a huge decision because once it's in motion, there's no going back. The next hearing on the matter is set for December 12th at 1:30 p.m. Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
All right, Christian, thank you very much. All right, let's take a quick break from the headlines and take a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy DeGue. Jeremy, a chilly morning today. What's in store for tomorrow?
The same.
Okay.
We're just going to do it all again. Let's talk it because temperatures right now sit at 40 degrees. 40 degrees is about where we were at this time last night. But take a look at that dew point of 34. It is likely our temperatures take a dive about there, but we do have a few clouds building in. Those clouds are going to play a big role in our temperatures. Might have to go ahead and bump some of these overnight lows up just with the clouds moving in. I really think they are going to make a pretty big difference on our overnight low. Right now I have us at 30. Might go ahead and bump that up to about 33 because of it. I'm gonna go through a little more data, but that's what I've been toying with. As soon as I start talking, I go, yeah, I probably should have done it. By tomorrow afternoon though, we are going to be up in the 50s. Mid 50s across much of the inland Northwest takes us into a nice warm Saturday. I think we see even more sunshine on Saturday with the high in the 60s. Sunday rain returns and it cools us down a bit, but until then, it's all about the mild weather.
All right, sounds good. Jeremy will check back in with you later in the show. Now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. A Coeur d'Alene fire has been ruled arson, and now investigators need your help to find who was responsible. That home was under construction in the Coeur d'Alene Place development before it burned down Sunday night. Take a look at that video. Deputy Fire Marshal Craig Etherton says the fire was quickly ruled as an arson.
So this one was actually fairly easy. This is a whole bunch of wood that was just standing all by itself, doing a whole lot of nothing. There were no electricians had not been in. We hadn't had a lot of trades in doing work.
A $5,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest is being offered. New video tonight shows Spokane County Air 1 helping Lincoln County Sheriff's deputies on the ground track down burglary suspects. The Spokane Regional Air Support Unit and 2 K-9 units responded to assist with a possible burglary in progress at a cell phone tower site near Sprague. Video shows one suspect hiding in the thick brush as a K-9 unit and deputies approach. That suspect was arrested. 2 others were also arrested and booked into the Lincoln County Jail on suspicion of burglary. The CDC now confirmed cases of avian flu in poultry workers right here in Washington. The state released news of presumptive positive cases this weekend, and it comes as cases in humans across the country tick up, with dozens now reported in at least 6 states. Officials in Washington say they are taking this very seriously. An expert on transmission of illnesses between humans and animals says this strain is not going from person to person yet. It is believed the workers caught this directly from the birds.
Unprecedented strain of bird flu that's been circling the world in the last 2 years has been different from previous strains of highly pathogenic avian influenza in its ability to infect mammals of many different species, and then in some of those species have it transmit from one mammal to another. And this is very concerning.
As for cases in Franklin County in Washington, the state says workers are mostly dealing with mostly mild respiratory issues. Again, so far they've caught it directly from poultry, not from other humans. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website, KREM.com. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.